Hey, 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 Fitmama. Jen Oliver here, your host of the Fitmama podcast. This is the work in to your workout. Hey, Fitmama. Jen Oliver here. Excited to be with you today for this solo cast. You are with me. I am venturing into some deep and dark and light and exciting places today. And I'm really wanting to explore with you today what is really going on. What feeling is beneath your motivations that you're going for? And this is kind of a deep subject, and I've started to go a little deeper and a little deeper and a little deeper with my clients lately, and we're going to some really, really fun places. And so this is all very top of mind for me. I'm having my own journey. As you know, I always share authentically on here with you about what's really going on for me. And I'm going to use myself as an example, and I'm going to talk about a few different things today that I really want you to explore in your own life. I really want you to consider what motivations are driving you. And then once you realize what motivations are driving you to behave a certain way, you can look at what drives the motivations and what feeling are you going for. So for example, shopping. I love shopping. I'm not a huge shopper, but I love shopping. It's like one of those things, right? I don't like spending money, and I feel like sometimes that's very frivolous, or I have all these, misconceptions and stories I tell myself about shopping, but I really enjoy it. And especially if I feel like I want to spend money freely, I do have fun and I like shopping. But I look at shopping and I say, okay, when I'm shopping, when I'm buying this thing, whether it's clothing or an accessory or something for my home or for my kids, groceries, food even, it's like, what motivates me to buy this or that? What is the feeling I get when I shop or when I buy this thing? Let's say it's food. When I buy a healthy food that I've deemed healthy, and that's completely subjective, is, I feel good when I buy this, right? If I'm doing things that are good for the environment and I'm being conserving or very mindful in that way, I feel good about myself. So I always look to go, what is this good feeling? It's almost like that spike of dopamine or serotonin and those feel-good neurochemicals that we look for when we take certain actions. The same thing with exercise, right? It's like, why do I love going for a run or a hike? It's like, wow, I'm in nature. I feel good about myself. I feel good about this. And there's certain things that we engage in that fill us up and make us feel really, really fulfilled and light and airy and loving and generous and all those good feelings. And then there's other things that we don't even really pay attention to how they make us feel maybe negative in a certain way. So I want to explore today with you what feeling you're going for. And I want to dig deep today with what's really going on for you. So looking at your behaviors, we're now heading into mid-February. It's Love Month, which is like, whoa, hearts and love and pink everywhere, which is my favorite things. So I just eat it up, and I just love to look and love to enjoy all the love and all the talk about love and romance and connection, even if it's just that, quote unquote Hallmark holiday that we fit in. It really is about what's going on here. We decided to create a whole month out of 12 months to be that love month, to be Valentines, about celebrating love. And, when we look deeper into that, what feeling we're going for is that good feeling, the fuzzy feeling, right? It's after Christmas. We might have goals for ourselves this year or be under pressures or paying off Christmas bills or whatever. And we just want that breath of fresh air where we can feel that love, right? It was really created with that intention, I'm sure. But what do we love or dislike maybe about that is the feeling that it gives us, right? What sort of trauma or bad experiences have we had around Valentine's Day if we don't like Valentine's Day, right? If we think, oh, it's this wasteful holiday and what's the point? I've always seen it as another opportunity to celebrate love, to enjoy, right? But it's not all about that day. It's not that's the only day you're going to show love to your significant other or your kids. It's cultivating that on a daily basis and then having yet another excuse to celebrate each other. I got my kids some really fun toys, little pencils and stickers and just different things that they love, magnets. And I'm doing a little treasure hunt for them for Valentine's Day, which they love. Treasure hunts. I do clues for them and I send them all over the house. They run and they get really excited for the next clue and they figure out the puzzle and then they end up getting all these little treats along the way and they just love it. And so for me, it's just another exciting reason to celebrate and another thing that they can get excited for, right? And that's really the fun of it. But today I want to go and dig deeper into your motivations for the things that you're engaging in right now. So, New Year's is come and gone. We won't talk about the resolutions once again, but it is February. So it's likely that what you wanted or what you thought this higher self decided on New Year's Eve, reality kicks in. And I want to dig in deeper to what behaviors you're engaging in right now and how those are or are not, perhaps maybe, serving you. And I got to call you out here. You are one brave woman or man, Fitmama, because often we don't want to face what's really going on. We don't want to dig deeper. And if someone comes and asks us something that's like a digging question, we're like, who are they to ask me that question? That's so personal. Or I'm not ready to address that. Or I haven't thought of that or whatever, because often we don't want to face what's sometimes right in front of us. So if we've fallen into habits that we used to have last year that we wanted to give up this year, or if there are things that we're not following through on, or we get back into that old mindset or that negativity towards ourself or our body or our life, I want to have you today just dig in a little deeper to what feeling, what pleasurable, probably, feeling are you getting from some of these behaviors that you're labeling as bad or that you shouldn't be doing them, right? Maybe skipping the gym or ditching your workouts. Maybe it's not following through on your journaling or your meditation practice you said you wanted to do. Maybe you haven't stuck to making a meal plan and preparing in advance so that you feel really free around food and you don't have guilt coming in with respect to money and food and organic foods and money or takeout or time or all the things that can creep in as busy fit mamas. This is all the noise that starts to creep in. And I want to look at what are those behaviors you've started to engage in that are distracting you from those feelings of guilt. And they also could be the things that are causing the guilt. So it's kind of a double-edged sword if you look at it that way. And this is why this is kind of a scary topic because, we tend to not want to face things because we don't want to have them taken away or really change in a way because it's so comfortable doing those things over and over. And I want to encourage you to ponder, what is the feeling you're desiring? What is the feeling you're gaining by skipping your workout or sleeping in or one of my things that I've been feeling lately is, what I would have in my former life called a guilty pleasure, which I don't find to be a term I really like or want to use ever again. In the last 5 years, I'd probably ditch that term if I ever said it. But there was always that feeling where it was like, oh, I love doing this, but it's like, is this right? Is this wrong? People are like that with their coffee or tea or their favorite, it's like a comfort thing. It's like, oh, should I be doing it? It's such a pleasure, but I feel guilt. So I've started to really ditch the guilt part, as you know, but it's like, what is the pleasure I'm really seeking? What's beneath here? Because it's motivating me to do this. So whether it's a tea with sugar or a blizzard or a ice cream sandwich or whatever I might be thinking is related to some pleasure, I can ditch the guilt and I can actually look at it and say, what's the feeling I want with this, right? Obviously it's going to taste good or it's going to feel good in my mouth for 2 seconds. But what is really the thing I'm going for with this? So I want you to ask yourself this, because I recently had, recently had myself kind of an epic situation where, I was really trusting my intuition and I was getting all these very clear intuitive messages around something that, I'm not even sure I want to go into this on this. This is so personal. And I really feel connected to share it in a way, but not to go and drone on about it because it's not about me. But I know that this experience is going to connect with you because for me, it's been, for me, probably I really say about 3 months of some really deep spiritual work. And that can be a little bit vague and also a little ominous and exciting all at the same time. But for me, the reality of it was that I wasn't sleeping and I was having these sleepless nights. And for me, if you know me at all, or if you've ever heard me talk about my sleep, it's like I'm an expert in that department. Like I got the sleep thing. I can always sleep. And when I'm not sleeping, this is a very clear, very high excited vibration for me for the most part, or else it's anxiety. But for me, I knew this wasn't an anxiety thing. I knew it was an excitement thing. And for example, when I first met my husband, let's say I first connected with my husband in a more intimate way, I couldn't sleep for weeks and months just by the sheer connection we had. I was so hyper excited that I couldn't sleep. So for me, it's not unnormal for me to sleep very little for a month or 2 months up to about 3 months where I'm just high on life because something so monumental and exciting is happening. Like if Oprah called me and said, I'm ready for you on Super Soul Sunday, which I've been only meditating on every day of my life, I would not be able to sleep for months. Like even if that had passed, I would still be just so excited, right? Because there's certain things that get you into this high vibration. And this is what I want to explore today, this feeling that we chase with all these sometimes superficial means to that end. And I want to understand what is the end. So for me, this sleeplessness, this excited sleeplessness opened up a door for me to connect deeper with my intuition, to get some guidance from my higher self, and really try to understand what was going on for me, because I did feel like I was at a crossroads and I was looking for some guidance, and the moon was speaking to me, and I was feeling very connected with the earth, and I was out in nature a lot and just really looking deeply for answers, really, which I knew came from within, but I needed to connect with Mother Earth. And it was so interesting how the insights that I was getting, especially at the beginning of this 3-month cycle, was all around having another baby and how I was ready. I always knew I wanted more kids. I have 2 girls. They're now 6 and 8. My daughter, who's 6, is going to be 7 soon. She's growing. I always knew, even 7 years ago, before I birthed my second, that I would have more. I love kids. I wanted more. I loved a big family, all the things. And the way our life rolled and how things kind of turned out day to day, and with my back injury that I got and my life and starting Fitmama and nurturing my 2 daughters, traveling the world, writing my book, and all the things that came with that, and this podcast, plus my connection with my husband and our family, it was very much clear to me that there was never a time, and I know there's not necessarily always a good time, but there wasn't a time that I felt I was necessarily ready or wanted that at that time. And so when I started having these sleepless nights, I realized it was like, this is the time. Like, this is it. And it was really, really intense how it came to me. And I really started realizing, like, I have to approach this with my husband, who I'm very, very, very clear he's not on board with wanting more children at this point. So I have that to contend with. And I started really kind of going down this rabbit hole. So it was a few weeks of figuring out, how am I going to tell him, even though I know he knows, and we kind of, we've had that convo, but I really never wanted to approach it head on direct, because I wasn't ready to sort of close the chapter, if you will. So I had kind of just strung it along for both of us, and knowing he didn't want it. But long and short of all of this was weeks and weeks of sleepless nights, connecting with my husband on it, having those conversations, multiple conversations. And, if you know my husband and I, and, if you know me at all, but really one of the big things was that we agree on almost everything. And it's not that I'm super agreeable, although I can be. It's that we really see eye to eye on almost everything. And we really have the same opinions and thoughts and beliefs and values and all those things. And they're very aligned. So when we really didn't align on this one thing, it was really hard. And we went and hit some new places that we hadn't hit before. And it was really empowering and beautiful, and allowed me to open up in ways that I hadn't, and stand for myself in ways that I hadn't. And the episode of a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, I think now, which was taking a stand for you, which definitely alluded to this topic with my husband and I, it was really empowering for me, and it was a really great thing to our relationships to experience, and both our individual relationships with each other, with ourselves, with the other girls, our daughters, and it was really an interesting time. And as I kept digging, which is what I encourage for you, I actually realized within a couple of months that there was a feeling, there was a thing even deeper than my desire to have more children that I was really going for. And when I started to ask myself this question, and I had a few people prompt me, so I have to thank those people in my life when I did open up about this, to, those who said, so why, right? Because everybody knows, having more kids, great, good on ya. And I love the encouragement from everybody. But when those who asked me why made me really think, that being my husband was the first and foremost asking that question, but others in my life as well, it was, what is that going to bring to your life that you don't already have? What is this feeling? And, yes, it's other children, which obviously, but it wasn't that I didn't feel fulfilled in that area. So I knew it had to be dig deeper. Hey, Fitmama, I want to interrupt this episode just for a quick reminder to check out the Love Fitmama Way. If you haven't already checked out the book online, it's available on Amazon. The link is in the show notes. It is a very comprehensive book for you, where I explain how the transition into motherhood is a window of opportunity to transform the core of your being as a human and a leader. I go into detail about what you can do physically to rehabilitate your deep inner core after pregnancy and childbirth. It doesn't matter how many years postpartum. I emphasize that being a fit mama all starts with love, and what goes into the embrace, nurture, and enjoy framework as I outline this journey for you. Because it's all about transforming from the inside out, focusing within, not without. Cultivating those healthy habits that stick, that are for you, is what this new generation of fit mamas like you really want. I lay out and I dive into the Fitmama foundations along with all the relevant tools, new ideas, recommendations, scientific backup, and intriguing perspectives that will leave you feeling empowered Fitmama and determined to connect deeper with your own core. Regardless if you're male or female, with or without kids of your own, you will find this book thought-provoking and practical in moving you toward true love and reverence towards your body and your life. I guarantee it, Fitmama. Reach out. Please let me know how you like the book. It's only $4.69 on Kindle, and you have a Kindle app for free on your phone. If you don't, grab a Kindle. They're awesome. You can read it right on your computer, though. And the paperback is only $24.95. I honestly know that it's worth it. It is over 10 years of research and pretty much 20 years of experience, plus my whole life. But it is a wealth of knowledge. And I know this makes a really, really great gift for any of those pregnant or new fit mamas out there. I guarantee you're going to feel a breath of fresh air from reading this book, and sharing it with your friends and family is giving love right to them. I talk all about healing your seal and doing the pull-ups to bring yourself back into a place of equilibrium in your core, a nice connecting with your deep inner core, how to rehab, what it all means, and it's super, super clear and simple. So check out the book, get it on Amazon. The link is in the show notes. And back to the episode. Have a great day, Fit Mama. And when I asked myself what I really wanted, because even pregnancy and postpartum and babies, those are very, very temporary. My kids who are now about to be 7 and 8 are already feeling like adults and they can raise themselves, they're so independent, but we know that time is fleeting. So I know I wasn't doing it for that time, but it was like, what is that time of pregnancy and postpartum bringing to me that I don't have, or that I'm craving in some way other than more children, which I understood as a possibility, but I wanted to dig deeper. And so for me, I started really, really digging, and I wanted to understand that feeling. I wanted to feel what feelings I might be dismissing in my life that might be related to this feeling I'm going for with having more babies. So it's very exciting to me that I started digging in this way, because I started going even deeper into my values and my desires and understanding what were these desires, because I was very fulfilled and am very fulfilled with my children and my husband, and feel very happy and joyful and filled with purpose. And I have a very respectful and open relationship with my husband and my children. And there's a lot of honesty, and there's so much freedom in what I have and what I've built and what they've offered me and what I've offered them and what we have as a community, just in the 4 of us and my extended family. So I was really, really looking at what the feeling was. And so if you could think in your life, Fit Mama, something that you're going through right now, whether it's a job change or how you're seeing the evolution of your career, if it's adopting or having more babies or adopting pets or having, a house full of pets, whatever it is for you, wondering what is the feeling that you're going for by having these additional either responsibilities or nuances, if you will, in your life that you have to give energy to. Because see, I knew now that I had energy, right? Because I'm 38 years old right now. Next month I'm going to be 40. Next year I'm going to be 40, but next month I'm 39. So I'm excited. I'm very, very excited about this. But at no point, even though I realized in my subconscious, I must have thought, oh, I'm getting older. If I want to have kids, it's now. That came to my conscious. And I know that I said that. And then I'm realizing, hey, no, I have the energy. I am raring to go. I am very, very, very excited. So what I realize is I have the energy. I have the fulfillment that I thought I was seeking or that I felt I wasn't fulfilled. And if I don't have another baby, I know I feel fulfilled. So what else am I searching for? And I started to just keep doing these deep dives with myself. And I was doing a lot of journaling and I was doing a lot of self-reflection. I was doing a lot of meditating. And I really, really dug down. And interestingly enough, what came up for me was so valuable. I mean, there's just no words, to be honest, because there was a few things I realized. One was, and I don't know how this came to me, but it was clear to me that having more babies was not the answer. And it was some sort of holding pattern, and it was some sort of me using it as a means to an end. So when I realized that, and it, that clarity came to me, I thought, okay, so what's going on here is that something was a surrogate for something else. Okay, the baby was a surrogate for me feeling this as something I could feel already without having to have a baby, right? And so what is this feeling? For me, what became evident was that when I was pregnant and when I was just newly postpartum, I had a freedom that I had never afforded myself otherwise. And this freedom was to take care of me first because I had a baby inside me. And it began with pregnancy. I remember like it was yesterday, even though it was over 10 years ago now. No, almost 10 years ago, I should say, that I was pregnant with my first daughter. So I got pregnant with her of July of 2010. Yeah, so this July, it'll be 10 years. And I remember the minute I took that pregnancy test and it was positive and I realized I had her inside me and I was growing a human to be birthed on this earth, I felt a sense of positive responsibility and self-love like nothing ever before. And I'm not sure, I haven't talked about this as a universal experience with other women who are pregnant. I think I have with friends. I've talked about this sense that I had when I was pregnant, that I was just on purpose. And while I was pregnant, I didn't have to prove anything. I didn't have to do anything. I was valuable and I was worthy to myself and to others. And I didn't care about others for the first time ever in my life, maybe, where I didn't care what others thought. I didn't care what others needed from me. It was, I'm taking care of me. I've got a baby in here, baby on board. I'm bossing it for this baby, right? It was nothing else mattered. And it wasn't in a rude way. It wasn't in a dismissive way. It wasn't in a I'm better than you way. It was just in a way that for the first time in my life that I've experienced, it was in a way where I mattered so much. It was more than what you said, thought, or cared about me. I mattered. And, I wonder, and I would love to feel your love on this one if you want to write me or talk about this, because I really realized that I guess to some degree that I just didn't matter as much as the other person. And maybe this is part of my social upbringing and cultural upbringing as a woman, as a girl, to be very influenced by what are my manners? How do other people see me? Am I being rude? Do they think I'm selfish? Are they thinking I'm narcissistic? Am I this? I mean, all the kinds of things. And we want to be the good girl. We want to be the people pleaser, which that's what I was always, and I'm still recovering from this, and realized that was the first time when I was pregnant. And then when I was postpartum and had to breastfeed the baby, it was like, sorry, I can't do that. I got this. Sorry, I got this. And it was the first time I exercised boundaries in a way that actually didn't make me feel guilty. And I understand mom guilt in that way where we have responsibilities and we have to say no to our children. But for me, for the most part, it was the first time I was saying no to other external things, people, or energy depleters in whatever form they came, because I set a certain standard boundary for myself that I had never, ever experienced. So I started to explore that a little deeper around boundaries. And I thought, oh yeah, I actually always say yes. And I very rarely say no. I accept almost anything and give everyone the benefit of the doubt and do anything for anyone because I love that. And I feel truly from my heart generous and giving. And I want for you all the best. I want to show you your essence in every moment. And that is beauty and that is love. And I want to reflect that back to you. And only at a certain point in my recent life did I realize how I was giving away some of my energy through that. So it went beyond. And the boundary that I wanted to put up was, oh, I have another baby. Oh, I'm pregnant. And I wanted to go back into that feeling comfortable support system that I had made before, which was I have young children. Now my children are 7 and 8, almost 7. I'm like, I don't want to get ahead, but it's a couple weeks away by the time this is going to be live. And I don't want to feel that is my crutch, that to get to the boundaries that I felt so good in, I need to do this as the means to that end. So what was really that boundary for me? And this actually did allow me to even dig even deeper, if you will. And this is going to be a topic of yet another podcast because it really opened up some things for me to realize where, as I mentioned earlier, this idea of I felt so good being pregnant and I didn't feel, regardless of physiologically, I had a lot of swelling and this and fatigue and this, whatever. But I felt so powerful as a woman and I felt so powerful within myself in a non-ego way that it just felt so grounding. It felt so purposeful. It felt so filled with passion and love. I was literally growing a human and I felt so empowered by this fact. And what that actually was, when I looked closer at it, was my feminine, my essence, the feminine within me that I had never truly honored or even realized. And still now, 6+ years later, I'm just realizing that embodiment of my feminism that was pregnancy and postpartum and breastfeeding and feeling so confident in myself was always available to me, but I didn't value it. I didn't emphasize it. I didn't even look at it. I didn't consider it. I didn't honor it in any way. And this is literally just in the last few weeks of my life that I am so focused on that feminine. And what I mean by the feminine is my femininity, what makes me me in the beautiful sense of my femaleness. Because I realized that the way I was culturally raised in my society in macro and micro was very achievement oriented. And you may too have grown up in this Western environment where it's achievement, 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 and win and succeed and look good and all these very important things, of course, where I kind of followed along suit, but those were all very masculine entities. Like I really didn't honor the femininity, which was more of a rest, more of a nurturing presence, more of a stillness, a being, not doing, a basking in the radiance of being who we are as women. I always felt the need to prove, the need to achieve, the need to beat someone, the need to win or show how I was valuable and I was contributing. I was, after all, equal, right? So this is where my world is going. And I'm really exploring these concepts because I was literally on the verge of having another baby, and I'm really far away from that right now. And I'm not saying no now, I'm just saying not now. And I'll be ready to say no when I'm ready to say no, but I'm exploring the feeling that I thought that was going to bring to me. And what I felt like I needed in my life became obvious, which was more of my feminine, more of my right brain, which is less of that logical, more focused, calculating, very deliberate planning and execution, which all is innate for me now. It's all just part of who I am in my DNA. I naturally will always work. I will always produce. I'm writing another book. I have clients to serve. I have the podcast to run. I have a whole team to lead. I have so many things going, and I feel such a sense of purpose in just exploring my feminine more. And it's given me such a sense of clarity and direction in a way that I was looking for the baby to bring, which is so interesting. And now it just feels so right to not bring a baby and go with this flow. And I have other entities I'm bringing through, and there's so much excitement for me and for my family and all the things going. So I just wanted to share that intimate experience with you. But to have you really ponder, what things in your life are you doing, whether it's with your job, with your home, with your environment, with your travel schedule, with your children, with their activities or their values and your values and their future and your partner or partners, or however it looks for you with family. I encourage you to open to how it could be if you honored more of who you are already instead of seeking something external to you, which might be a very beautiful thing. And it's not that that's wrong. It's just that might be a holding pattern for you. That might be a means to an end. And just like I always teach at Fitmama and with my clients, it's like, we don't have to do that. We don't have to go shopping and buy that outfit to feel good. We can just feel good, right? It's there for us. So always explore the feeling beneath the action. And for me, the clarity that I experienced with this and the feeling that I realized I wanted was even a deeper connection with my husband and his masculinity to balance out my femininity. Not for me to take on more of his masculinity, which I am naturally poised to do, but to be more of my feminine with him, around him, and asking more for what I need. Because when it came to boundaries, I felt very okay asking for certain things when I was newly postpartum, when I was pregnant, when there was extenuating circumstances. But then that creeping feeling of my feminism, which I never subscribed to per se, but that kicks in, which comes from my natural DNA as a woman, is I can do it all. If he can do it, I can do it. Why can I ask him to do it when I can just do it? And I push and I push. And it's not about that. It's actually not about that. And when I realized my intimacy with him was also very much contingent upon me being the woman, me being a woman, me being me, the woman, my womanness, which pulls out his both womanness and maleness in different ratios, depending on the exchange. And it's a beautiful thing. So this is also something we're exploring further. And our intimacy, and you've heard me talk about sex and the depths that we go. And that's just the beginning and another topic for another podcast also. So there's always exciting things to come. But for you and today, Fitmama, I want to ask you, where are you feeling things in your body? And I want you to consider and maybe do a meditation on this for yourself. Is what feeling are you getting from the behaviors you're engaging in naturally? Because if we're falling off the wagon, as we call it, or if we're falling into old habit patterns, there's a reason why. And we're gaining something from those things that we are missing in our life. And if we can understand those things, Fitmama, we can go after them in a whole different way. And that way might just be by pushing less, by doing less, by being more, by connecting with our right brain and our feminine yin side. Because we're all very much cultured and societally pushed and pressured towards being achievers. That's how school works. That's how sports works. That's how life seems to work. But we can look at it differently. So feel where in your body you're getting these feelings that doesn't feel good, this does feel good, this is the feeling I'm actually trying to achieve by doing this or that, by hoarding or cleaning, by shopping or being a minimalist. What is the feeling I'm going for? And then go for more of that feeling, not those means to that end. Thank you for being here, Fitmama. I'm so grateful for you as always. Please do me a love and share this with someone who you know will benefit, who will come to you and thank you, who will say thank you, and I say thank you. Namaste.